Dave Chapelle, how do you find peace?
In my family, in my friends, in my work. You know, I sincerely make a point, literally, I make a point to manufacture quality memories because it's the only thing I believe they can't take away from me. The idea of being courageous is that even though you're scared, you just do the right thing anyway. So in 2004, I walked away from $50 million, and in November, I made a deal for $60 million. For the most part, man, I try not to pay attention to that because you don't want to be careful as a comedian. You know what I mean? I try to keep my business like small enough so it could still be authentic enough.
Dave Chapelle is an American actor and producer. He is widely regarded as one of the most influential comedians of his generation. Chappelle first gained widespread recognition for his appearances on the popular sketch comedy series. Chappelle's show throughout his career, he has been known for his fearless approach to comedy and his willingness to tackle controversial subjects such as race, politics, and social issues.
My older brother is like freakishly good-looking dude, you know. Me, I mean, I'm all right. But, you know, everyone in my family was light-complected, except for me. And I'm telling you, from a young age, I noticed people were treating me different. But I didn't understand why they were treating me different.
Yeah.
And I do believe to this day that that had something to do with it. And that was the best thing that ever happened to me. Why? Best thing, because before that time, I had never bombed, let alone got booed off stage. And bombing was horrifying. Nobody wants to bomb. Nobody, you know, when people say you do comedy, what happens if nobody laughs? I don't know. So that night was liberating because I failed so far beyond my wildest nightmares of failing that it was like, hey, they're all booing. My friends are here watching, my mom. This is not that bad. And after that, I was fearless. To get into the New York comedy circuit is a very closed circuit. And I got in all these clubs in like a week, 2 weeks. Like, that's just reputation. Have you seen this kid? Have you seen this kid? I was like that dude.
Being in your own head and being isolated is dangerous, but for artists, this is a very daunting task because we do have a need for people that's like inflated. I don't even know what the word would be, but it's a really profound need. And I worry about people. You know what I mean? Like just a year in isolation, it can do a terrible thing to somebody. Any of the stuff that I did, because everything helped in some way, form, or fashion. Even if the help was to just inform me about something, but I don't know. I don't take that kind of inventory. For me, like, it's like, I don't know. I just remember it from the inside out. I don't know what other people think about the stuff I do. And I try not to seek that information out. There have been a couple times, like I might have drank something and Googled myself. but I try not to like swim in the deep water of other people's opinions. For the most part, man, I try not to pay attention to that because you don't want to be careful as a comedian. You know what I mean? I try to keep my business like small enough so it could still be authentic enough. You know, you get on the big stage, you gotta be a little more careful. So I stay off the big stage. Through a real tough time, man, like just readjusting. And my mom bought me this Time magazine with Bill Cosby on the cover, Cosby Inc. Me and the guy had a lot of stuff in common, like some of the quotes he would say. And I just remember, like after reading that stuff, I put it down and it was like, I'm gonna be a comedian. And man, I'm telling you, I could see it so clearly. So clearly, man, this is it. I was so excited, I told my family, I have an announcement to make, I'm gonna be a comedian. You know, it was like real. Because I was always funny. I'm the youngest kid. You know, the youngest kid in the family usually plays that role of the tension breaker.
Right.
I was that dude. And that's when my mom suggested that maybe I go to a comedy club and check it out.
You know, it's funny, I was talking to a guy, he basically said to me that comedy is a reconciliation of paradox. And I think that was a irreconcilable moment for me, that I was in this very successful place, but the emotional content of it didn't feel anything like what I imagined success should feel like. It just didn't feel right. Fear. The idea of being courageous is that even though you're scared, you just do the right thing anyway. So in 2004, I walked away from $50 million, and in November, I made a deal for $60 million. But I think a lot of, especially in comedy, a lot of it has to do with intent.
And your intent is?
To make people laugh, to reconcile paradox. I'm like just openly, sometimes I'm just openly vent. I think that when you get to a certain altitude, there's more scrutiny over the things you say, because the platform is so powerful. My career, as I'm getting older, you know, I start thinking about a larger picture than just like a show or this, that, or the other. I'm in that phase of my career, even though I'm still kind of a young guy. I'm thinking about a legacy, because I'm young, but I've been, you know, it's like you. I've been doing.
You're younger than me.
But barely, but still. But you've been in the business longer, so you're a young woman, but you've been in business for decades. And I'm a young man, and
I don't remember, it's 30, I think 34 or 30, this year, 34 years.
Yeah, I'm 30. It's the same. I started, you know, my
April
career,
14th.
87. That's when I started.
So you 1 year, he's 1 year ahead. Yeah.
And you know, all these years later, I still love doing it, but I do have a feeling like I'd like it to be a little more meaningful than just, you know, writing a joke and then taking it to market. I want to build something that will last beyond me.
Dave Chapelle, how do you find peace? Where do you find your peace?
In my family, in my friends, in my work.
Area.
Yeah, you know, I find peace primarily in those places. If you're talking about worldly peace. I'm a real lucky man. And COVID was great for me, like, because it really helped me realize how lucky I am. I was able to do things and help other people do things that, you know, this was a shit show of a time. Like, I never lived through a time like that. And I don't think the hard part is over.
No, I don't. I feel like there's another epidemic, and the epidemic is going to be of mental health.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, sure. I mean, the one thing about putting anything out is you can't control how it's going to be received. Listen, when it comes to art, right? Results matter. So if I listen to a Drake record and I like it, and then somebody comes behind that and starts telling me everything that's in the hot dogs, I ate the hot dog and I liked it. It's done.
Right.
You know what I mean? However, if I'm making art, I would rather do it myself.
Got it.
That for me, part of it is like, what can I come up with? And I'm engaging these people. But I don't mind people that make their art via committee. If there's, you know, I don't know what the deal is.
Because the results, like you said, the results matter.
I ate the hot dog. I like the hot dog.
Get out of there. This is the guy that showed everybody you can make it from D.C. to Hollywood. And I had a personal stake in his success. Every time he did something, it made me feel inspired and really good. And he was always real nice to me. He'd sit me down, "What's going on with you, baby boy? What? We'd talk about comedy, whatever." And, you know, when we did Blue Streak, we were promoting it, and Martin had a stroke. He almost died. And then after that, I saw him, and I was like, "Oh, my God, Martin, are you okay?" And he said, "I got the best sleep I ever got in my life." That's how tough he is. So let me ask you this. What is happening in Hollywood that a guy that tough will be on the street waving a gun, screaming, "They are trying to kill me"?
Yeah.
What's going on? Why is Dave Chapelle going to Africa? Why does Mariah Carey make a $100 million deal and take her clothes off on TRL? A weak person cannot get to sit here and talk to you. Ain't no weak people talking to you. So what is happening in Hollywood? Nobody knows. The worst thing to call somebody is crazy, is dismissive. I don't understand this person, so they're crazy. That's bullshit. These people are not crazy. They're strong people. Maybe the environment is a little sick.
Middle school here, I went back to Washington for my freshman year of high school. And by that time, crack had come out. And it was completely new. It was like seeing a before and after picture of someplace. The city changed dramatically with crack. And I socially, I wasn't ready for what that meant.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started doing stand-up my freshman year of high school. I was 14. And it was literally as easy as, like, my dad looked in the phone book, found a comedy club, and said, go ahead, call them. And I called them, and it changed my life. I found out what open mics were. I would go to the comedy club and just watch comedians, and I get the money from my dad or some money.
So your parents were very, very supportive of you.
Very much, because at that time, if you think of all the terrible things that I could have been
Yeah.
doing, all I wanted to
Could have got
do
caught
was
up in.
watch these comedians perform. I was fascinated with the relationship between these comedians and these crowds. I liked it before I saw it, but when I saw it live, I
Yeah.
couldn't believe, like, this actually works. Right. Well, you know, freedom is not a privilege. It's a right. You have the right to be free. But with this right is an enormous amount of responsibility. And most people just see the amenities of freedom.
Did you hear that? Freedom is not a privilege, it's a right.
But it is a responsibility. A free man has to really consider his actions more and try to do good and take care of other people and, you know, and not be an oppressor and all these things, you know, in a multitude of ways. And it makes you more sensitive to what everyone's going through. Right? I have effectively minimized my stress. And I exercise. And all these factors I think will contribute to my quality of life. Maybe not the length of my life, but who knows? I can get hit by a bus, catch some kind of wild cold or Zika or something. I don't know what's going to happen to me. So I just don't worry about it. I just chill and do shows that I dream about. It's like a fantasy show. I'm like living the dreams, though. But it's not easy. You know, I sincerely make a point. Literally, I make a point to manufacture quality memories because it's the only thing I believe they can't take away from me.